friends, today we study choice of reactor. Now in the choice of reactor, the name itself says that we have to select a reactor which should give a proper product. So for that we have to go through the various point. So very first point come into mind. So that we have to choice of reactor. In that we have to select a product. Now that is feasible. It can be sold into the market. Now for that product there are various types of reaction paths are available, so we have to make a decision. So which type of reaction path can be selected for the particular product, and we have to consider the 3 points for that, so that we can select a proper reaction path. The very first point we can go through while selecting a reaction path is that it should be very economical. That means that it should have it should have the cheapest raw material, and which can produce a very small byproducts. So that is the first point we can go through. So when we select a reaction path, it should have a proper react raw materials required. That means the values of raw material should be very less, and after the reaction the byproducts should be very less. There should be negligible byproducts. So if byproducts are there, there will be some environmental problems. So this is how we can make a decision. Now in the next point we can see that it should have a less energy consumption. So whatever the reaction part we select, it should have a very less energy consumption. That means the project should be, or it project should be very economical. So that is the different types of decisions we have to make before starting any type of project. Now we will see how that this type of decisions can be made by considering the example. That is, in that example the given is that the objective is to manufacture vinyl chloride, that is the product. Then there are at least three reaction paths that can be possible for that product. So what is the objective of the project is that we have to produce a product. The product is defined as a vinyl chloride. And in that for that vinyl chloride, there are different types of reaction paths are available. Now from that we have to select any one of the reaction path, and we can go through the project. So that is how the now we can see this is the problems. So what we can see example, it is given that objective is to produce vinyl chloride. Now there are at least three reaction paths that can be possible. Now first reaction path is that now we can see acetylene is reacted with hydrochloric acid, then hydrogen chloride, then it will be give a vinyl chloride. So that is the first reaction path. The second reaction path says that when ethylene is reacted with chlorine, and we can get a dichloroethane. Now in that dichloro, then further heated, it will give a vinyl chloride and the hydrogen chloride. So that is the second path that is available. Then the third reaction path says that when ethylene is reacted with hydrogen and hydrogen chloride, so we get a dichloroethane plus water. Again dichloroethane is further heated, so it can be given the vinyl chloride plus hydrogen chloride. So these are the three reaction paths are available for a product. What is product? Here is the vinyl chloride. Now how to make a decision, how to select any one path from these three reaction path. So this is how we have to take a decision. Now we will see the market values and the molar masses of materials involved in the reaction. Now we can see from the data what are the values of this all the raw materials. Now we can see acetylene is at molar mass is 26, and the value is $1 per kg. Again for the chlorine, it is molar mass is 71, then the value of that is $0.23 per kg. Then ethylene, it is having some value, that is $0.53 per kg. Hydrogen chloride is also having some value, so it is $0.39 per kg. And whatever the product is there, this is our final project, but the value of that is 0.46 per kg. So this is how the market survey on the values of the each raw materials and the product is given in the data available. Now we can see again one more thing. Oxygen is considered in this. Oxygen is considered to be free at this stage, coming from the atmosphere directly. We can use air. Now, which reaction path can be most, which can be most sense on the basis of raw material cost, product, and the byproduct values? So this is given in example. This is given. The three reaction paths are available. In that three reaction paths, value of each raw materials are given. Again, value of product as well as product is also given. So how to make a decision? We will see how to make a now we can see decision can be made on the basis of economic potential of the process. So at this stage the best that can be done to define the economic potential, so we can go through the this formula. So this formula gives the idea, that is how the reaction path is economical feasible. Now we can see how can be calculated by the economic potential of the reaction path. So it can be given by value of product minus the raw material cost. Now what is the value of product? From the that table we can calculate. Now here it is minus subtracted by the raw material cost. Now we will go through the this point. Now what we have to do again we have to go to the previous section. The first reaction path says that when acetylene is reacted with hydrogen chloride, it will give vinyl chloride. So for that what we will do, we will go for the economic potential formula. So what is the value of product? That is 62 molar mass of that vinyl chloride into the value of that vinyl chloride minus the mole fraction, that is molar mass of the raw materials required. Now what is the raw material? Acetylene into 1, then plus what is the hydrogen chloride is there, again 36 into, so this is the value we can put, and what we get the result is minus. That minus indicates the project is in the loss. So that is the first point we have calculated from the first reaction path. So after putting the value, this will this reaction path gives the minus negative value. That means there is a loss in this process. Now we will go for the second part. Now we will go for the second reaction path. Now what is economic potential? Value of product minus the value of the raw materials. Now we can see that what is the reaction path? Ethylene when reacted with chlorine, we get a dichloroethane. Then dichloroethane again heated, it will give vinyl chloride and hydrogen chloride. Now after considering the values, so what can we can see from this formula, that if we consider that HCl is also considered as a product, then what will happen? The product value will be our economic potential will be 62 minus 62 into 0.46. So what is 62? Molar mass of the vinyl chloride into the value of that vinyl chloride plus 0.46 per kg per dollar. Again if we consider HCl as a product, so again we can consider that as a product. So minus the raw materials required. Now what is the raw material required here is, we can see chlorine and then dichlorine. So after calculating that, we can see that here we are getting a positive answer. So that is 9.99 kg per kilomole of vinyl chloride product. Now if we consider this, what we are considering that HCl is also can be sold into the market, so it can be also considered as a product. Now if we assume that there is no byproduct, now if we assume that sale of byproduct is not negligible, so what we can consider that, again if we go through the values, so we get again negative value. That means negative value means that means loss in the process. So that is the third consideration. Now again if we go for the reaction path of the third reaction path, and if we go through the same process. So what we get, economic potential is again minus 1.76. Again it is giving some losses. So how you can select this, how you can how you can make a decision. Now from these three values of economic potential of each reaction path, again we can see that it is giving more losses, that means 0.11. Again it is giving profit, again it is giving loss, again it is giving loss. From this four calculations, we can see that this path is good, so we can go through this path and we can start our project. But again, one various problems can be faced by that selection of that path. From the result, we can see that path 1 and 3 is not viable because it is giving negative value. Then only path 2 is shows positive when the byproduct HCl can also be sold into the market. But in actual practice what happens, this might be quite difficult since the market value of HCl tends to be limited. Okay. Now you see next point, in general project should not be justified on the basis of byproduct value. So this is the decisions after the calculation, but what we can say that the project cannot be justified by considering the value of byproduct. Then we can see the preference is the process is for a process based on ethylene rather than the more expensive acetylene and chlorine rather than the more expensive hydrogen chloride. So we can see that these are the different decisions can be done. Now electrolytic cells are much more convenient and cheaper resource of chlorine and hydrogen chloride. So these are the various decisions after that we can take. The first thing that 1 and 3 is not feasible. Second thing is that reaction path is 2 is considered as a feasible process, but it cannot be feasible by considering the value of the byproduct, that is HCl. Now we will give, so what we have to do, again we have to do the calculations, then devise a process. One more thing they have done for better understanding, devise a process from the three reaction paths that uses ethylene and chlorine as a raw material and produces no other byproducts rather than water. So what we have to do, so this is how we can change. Now for this process, so we can see that only three reaction paths are possible for vinyl chloride. Again they are not economic feasible. Okay. Now for next decision what we have to do, again we have to do for further studies, further literature survey. Now what we can do here is that a study of stoichiometry of the three paths shows that this can be achieved by combining the path 2 and 3 to obtain the fourth path. So what we can do here, combining 2 and 3 reaction paths, we can do some decisions can be made. So if we add the two paths, we will get the third path, that is the fourth path, and we will see that what is the economic potential of that fourth part, and further we can make a decision. Now here what we can see here, while adding a path 2 and 3, so this is the value we can get. Now what is the final equation we get after adding that is this path. The fourth path we get is that when we add the two reaction part 2 and 3, we get 2 ethylene plus chlorine plus half O2, it gives vinyl chloride, 2 vinyl chloride and water. Now if you divide that multiplied by half, we get the value of like this. Now we can see ethylene plus half chlorine plus 1/4 of H2, so 1/4 of O2 will give vinyl chloride and the water. So here we can see there is no byproducts are formed. Again first decision can be seen that in this that there is no byproduct. Second, we go for the economic potential of this process. Now we can see it is a product, water is considered as a, that is there is no value of that. So what we can see, economic potential, so 62 into 0.46, that is the value of product, minus 28 whatever the raw materials we are considering. So what it gives that the value is positive, that is 4.12 dollar per kilomole of vinyl chloride product. Here there is no byproduct. Again, EP is positive, so we can go through the project. So that is how we can make a decision. So in this summary we can see that part 2 from the example is most attractive reaction path if there is large market for hydrogen gas. Okay, it can be used, but in practice it tends to be difficult to sell large quantities of hydrogen chloride produced by such processes. So path 4 is usual commercial route for ethynyl vinyl chloride. So this is how we can do the literature survey and we can go through the project. So it can be used, this process can be used even a simple project, whatever project you are doing. So we can make all these types of decision. The first decision in while going through the any project is that it should produce a less amount of byproduct. Again, it should be economical feasible, so economic potential should be positive. Third thing, it should have energy consumption should be very less. Again, while going through this we can avoid the production of byproduct, that is environmental problem can be solved. So this is how the decisions can be made while selecting a reaction path, so or choice of reactor. So this is how we can go through the decision. Thank you friends, this is how we can end the lecture.